Well, this could have been a very different match reaction. That's all I'm saying. It could have been a very different match reaction. We were on course to this being one of the worst weeks to be a Celtic fan in recent memory. But Nicholas Kuhn and Alistair Johnston saved the day. Ross County 1, Celtic 2. Let's talk about that. Hello, welcome back to the channel. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, all that good stuff. It was a very, very tough watch this afternoon up in Dingwall. Celtic just about keep their 100% record to start the Premiership season, with thanks to late goals from Alistair Johnston and of course Nicholas Kuhn, who continues his great run in domestic football. Just altogether really, I had a poor game on Tuesday, but who didn't have a poor game on Tuesday? And talking about Tuesday, you can tell that definitely played a massive part going into today's game. We looked like a completely different side today from what we've been used to in the Scottish Premiership this season. It's almost definite that we suffered a huge confidence knock on Tuesday night, and it's understandable. You know, losing 7-1 is bound to rock you, is bound to maybe affect your performance moving into the next game. And I know it's easy for us to sit and hit out with those cliche sayings of, you know, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, or put it behind you. You know, it's very easy for us to say that, but it can be easy coming off the back of a 7-1 loss. Doesn't matter if you're playing, you know, Borussia Dortmund or Ross County or anybody in football. If you lose 7-1, it's bound to take an effect, and you could see that today. We looked like a lifeless side. We looked like a very different side. It looked like a team to me who were really desperate for the international break to hurry up and get out to recharge their batteries and refresh themselves over the next couple of weeks. And I think it's came at the perfect time for us. You know, it's came at a time where we can now regroup. We can look at what happened on Tuesday. We can look at what went wrong today as well, and we can hopefully fix what went wrong moving into the next stage of the season. So, you know, listen, we won the game. That's first and foremost the most important thing. And when you're playing away from home, sometimes a nasty 2-1 win does the job. I'm not going to get too bogged down on the overall performance today. Of course, we'll break down certain aspects of it. But, you know, if we went up there and won 7-0 today, 2-1 today, 1-0 today, all I wanted was 3 points after Tuesday, and that's what Celtic got. We played right until the last whistle. I think it's very easy for teams to kind of throw in the towel as the game gets more difficult, and we've seen Celtic sides in the past, especially this time last year, where we would never have scored an equaliser, let alone a winner up there today. But the team kept going. The substitutions made an impact. Brendan Rodgers obviously got the message through in whatever way he was trying, and we walk away with 3 points. So ultimately, we've done what we had to do. The team that was sent out today, I was pretty happy with. I think it was close enough to the side that I expected. I was actually pleasantly surprised to see Alistair Johnston in the team today, so that was a good addition. Of course it was a good addition when he contributed to a goal. But after him, Jesse Marsh saying it was not going to be going to the Canadian national team set up over the next 2 weeks, I assumed he'd be out. He wasn't, he was playing. And aside from that, the team was pretty much as expected. First half though, we were so poor. So poor. And it's one of these match reactions where I sit here and I go, what is there even to say about the first half? You know, ultimately, Ross County played a specific way this afternoon that meant Celtic were going to have a really tough time on that compact, that narrow pitch. And fair play to them, because if you want to try and win a game against Celtic, it's what you need to do. It's what we should be doing against the likes of Borussia Dortmund probably, but they done what's probably going to give them the best chance of winning. In the first half we were so poor, we lacked that same identity we normally have. I think we lacked that same ruthlessness and urgency that we normally have. We just looked like a team that was flat, and that's probably coming off the back of that embarrassment on Tuesday night. Ross County get the lead through a penalty, and let me just get this out the way before people start talking about it and asking about my opinions in the comments. It's a penalty every day of the week, and I also understand why it's a retake. I agree it's a retake. We didn't get done. It wasn't any referee conspiracies or anything like that, and I've not seen anybody saying that anyway. I think we're all level-headed when we need to be as Celtic supporters, but you know, it's a penalty. Kasper Schmeichel's off his line for saving it. He's allowed a retake. If the shoe was in the other foot, I'd be demanding a retake. If Ross Laidlaw was halfway off his line by the time that Kyogo or whoever's hitting it is stepping up, I'd be saying the exact same thing. So Ross County get their goal at a very awkward time for us right before half-time, and it forces Celtic into thinking about what we've done wrong. But a lot went wrong in that first half. A lot of players were just off the boil. You know, Arne Engels today had a real bad game. And listen, I want to just usher in that state of mind, that thinking right now of don't turn on him, don't say that he's a waste of money just because he played poorly on Tuesday. Everybody played poorly on Tuesday. Everybody played poorly in the first half today. There wasn't a good player on the park, maybe except Nicholas Kuhn for me in that first half. I'll maybe exclude the defenders from that conversation because they didn't have much to do. They'd done their job well enough. It was just Scales accidentally giving away a penalty, but going forward, we were poor. We were slow in transition. We weren't quick enough, and we weren't doing enough. Maida, Kuhn would send a ball into the box, and Ida wasn't getting on the end of it. He looked kind of sluggish today. And that kind of carried over into the second half as well, I thought. But we were just poor overall. But Engels is probably the guy that stood out the most. There was a reason that he was hooked. Him and Hatate just weren't playing well together. And I don't think that's a sign of maybe what to expect as they two. Are they compatible together? I think that might be a conversation that's picked up on today. I don't think we should read into that too much. As I said, I think that when the team is just off, it's hard for any individual to kind of stand up and raise themselves amongst the rest of the players to really pull us out a hole. Especially when Ross County are playing as defensively as they were. So the first half was a non-event, and I wish that I could sit here and talk about what we'd done right and wrong and in great depth, but we were just very, very poor, very, very slow, and we needed change. We needed life into the team, and I think that's what we actually ended up getting in the second half. I think a big part on what we'd done today and being able to leave with the 3 points up in Dingwall was the changes that we made in the second half. A massive amount of praise for Luke McCowan today, who came on the park, and I thought changed the game for us. I thought he was great. The life and the energy that he brought to the middle of the park, I think, was something that was missing. I thought it really improved Callum McGregor's game as well in the second half, because for me in the first half he wasn't really there, wasn't doing much. As I said, him, Hatate and Engels it just wasn't happening. But as soon as McCowan come on, he brought a kind of heartbeat to the middle of the park for Celtic, and I thought a lot of what was happening was coming through his energy that he was bringing to the game. He looked sharp, he looked fit, and for a guy that's not played a lot of minutes, he looked like he looked like Dyson Maida for me today with the energy he was bringing on the park. That was a massive change that done something for Celtic. I thought that James Forrest brought a lot of positivity to the game as well, where I was surprised, and this is why I'm not a Celtic manager, because when he took off Maida instead of Kuhn, I thought to myself, is that the right change? Should Forrest maybe not come on for Kuhn and we leave the pace of Maida on? But it worked. I mean, it ended up resulting in Kuhn getting the winning goal, and the quality of his technical attributes really showed through at that moment. But it was, those 2 substitutions. Kyogo as well, I think maybe brought something that Ida was lacking for us in the first half. I think those 3 changes in particular really kind of sharpened Celtic up and brought a life to the game for us. And maybe that was because a sense of urgency finally arrived, and maybe the desperation of needing to find the equaliser is what finally kicked Celtic into gear. But we really needed that goal. We needed it when we got it. And let's be real, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. We're lucky we get the goal. It's a deflection. It hits off the back of Alistair Johnson and diverts itself into the net. And it's lucky. I'm not going to deny that, but it's what we needed. And I think that helped spark Celtic into the next gear to then go and play well enough to find the winner. But yeah, second half we were much, much better. There was actually something to talk about in the second half. The only thing that was still so frustrating for me was the fact that we were getting the ball out to the wide areas. We were getting the ball to when Maida was still in the park, Maida or Kuhn or whoever was on the wide parts of the pitch, and we'd send it in, and just it was the same with even Maida a couple of times who was on the receiving end. It just wasn't moving quick enough. Ida wasn't moving quick enough, and we were just being a bit wasteful in that regard. And as I said, I think it's just the signs of a team who are really, really desperate for the international break to roll over, and thank God it is. Massive shout out for Nicholas Kuhn, or to Nicholas Kuhn I should say, for digging us right out a hole at the very end. A huge goal for us. We love it late in Dingwall, don't we? We love it late in Dingwall, and that will rub the right people the wrong way. A lot of hope for people this afternoon that Celtic were going to drop points, and it was absolutely ripped away from them. I love that. I absolutely love that. But it's a great finish. It's great work from Nicholas Kuhn to find himself the space to get the shot away. Delighted with the win, and listen, it's Celtic not at their best, and Rodgers needs to address that. He needs to get the confidence back in the camp. Aberdeen is the next game, and it's a tough game. It's one of the hardest games, if not the hardest game we'll have so far this season in domestic football. And then we've got to prepare to play them again in a League Cup semi-final. So it's a big few weeks coming up for Celtic. We return to Europe playing Atalanta away from home. We can't let Dortmund derail our season, and up until the 70th minute or so, it looked as though Dortmund were going to derail our season. So, we've got a lot of work to do over these next couple of weeks just to get that confidence back, get a breather, get the right players back to full fitness as well, Johnson, Taylor, of course, Cameron Carter-Vickers as well, and just pick up from where we left off pre-Dortmund. That's the Celtic I want back. What we've seen at St Johnstone last week was really good stuff, and I respect Ross County because they've been a good side this season. We went through it in the podcast. They've been really good. Don Cowie's got them playing good stuff, and they've been unlucky. The 3 games that they've lost this year have been to Celtic, Rangers and Aberdeen. It's the 3 games you expect them to lose. Outside of that, they've basically competed everywhere, and they were always going to be a tough game today. So yeah, we just need to get back to our best. But we do it late in Dingwall again. A boring game that I'm glad is over and done with. Sadly though, a boring international break to follow. If you've enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.